Hello and welcome to another episode of Danishes Be Cooking with a new recipe from the Gilmore Girls official cookbook. It's Danish Day. Danishes are coffee's best companion. Time to gather your ingredients.
And it's Danish Day. Are you seriously telling me that you're going to let a stupid fight get in the way of Danish Day?
No, I'm not.
Good.
So go in there and order 2 coffees and 2 Danishes to go.
Okay, this is insane. So you guys had a fight? Big deal. You know you're going to make up anyway, and what better day to make up than Danish Day, the happiest of all days, the day when we all say, hey, let's forgive and forget over a nice Danish and a cup of coffee.
The Danish, coffee's friend and a way to forgive and forget according to Rory. This recipe was fairly easy, and you can do so many variations of it to suit your taste. I tried to follow the recipe as best I could, but don't really care for fruit as a filling, so ended up making this and sharing with anyone who wanted it at work. Start by preheating the oven to 425 degrees. Then start preparing the pastry for baking. As I unrolled it and got toward the end of the roll, it seemed like the seams might have been breaking around that area, so you'll notice that I tried to smooth it out as best as possible and slowly unrolled toward the end. I tried to cut 6 even squares to get a nice, good, consistent pastry for all 6 of them. The filling consisted of 1 block or 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, a tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 egg yolk, the egg white will be used later, 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, and a teaspoon of vanilla paste. I haven't used vanilla paste ever in the past until I got this cookbook, and I actually find myself using it more often in my day-to-day recipes. I like that it's thicker than vanilla extract and has the vanilla bean in it. I haven't figured out if there's a flavor difference yet, but I find myself reaching for it in any recipe that calls for vanilla. Anyway, once all the ingredients are together in a bowl, start mixing. I would have used my hand mixer to make things easier, but I was traveling for work while filming this video and had to make do with what I had. So 9 hours later, just kidding, it probably took me a good 5 minutes to get it well combined. Then I switched to a whisk until I could get the mixture smooth enough to spread in the middle of each pastry. It was quite the workout, but I needed it anyway, and I was determined to get this video filmed even if I didn't have all the conveniences of home. Once I felt pretty good about the consistency of my cream cheese filling, I tried to evenly disperse it in the middle of each pastry square. As I said before, I'm not a big fan of fruit in desserts or pastries, but in trying to stick to the recipe, I went with fresh raspberries for my filling. I evenly distributed the raspberries onto the cream cheese filling in the middle of each pastry and was able to get a good serving of raspberries over each section of cream cheese. After that, it was time to start folding in the edges of the pastry. Using the egg white mixed until frothy with a tablespoon of water, I applied it to the corners of the pastry, then folded the corners in first. Yes, I used my hands because, again, not at home, so didn't have access to a pastry brush, and my finger worked just fine. After all the corners were folded in, I went back and folded the sides to make a border around the cream cheese mixture to hold it in place during baking. Finally, I used the egg wash to brush over all sides of the pastry so it could gloss and brown up during baking. What was nice about this pastry dough was that it came with a bake-safe sheet. However, I did not have a big pan and it wouldn't fit the way it was configured, so I carefully peeled them off and placed them in a way that it would fit all 6 on one small pan. I wasn't about to do multiple batches. I'm all about getting it done the first time while hoping I don't totally screw it up. In the end, I made it all fit and didn't have any casualties. By this time, the oven was ready, so I threw it in and set my timer for 20 minutes. They weren't quite as brown as I wanted them at the end of 20 minutes, so I left them in for an extra 5 minutes, periodically checking on them through the window. Yes, they did expand and end up sticking together slightly, but once they cooled, they did separate pretty easily. You can see they puffed up pretty good, and they did look delicious. I debated whether or not to add a glaze, but I did end up doing it. I used exactly what the recipe called for, which was 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of lemon juice, and 2 teaspoons of milk. I feel like it was a little runnier than I would have preferred and didn't harden into an icing, but I felt like a professional drizzling over the top. That's all that really matters. And it did look pretty, despite the glaze looking more clear than white, probably something I did wrong, but it tasted great. I love plain cream cheese Danishes, so I'd make it again without the fruit, but you can really add just about any fruit that you like, or even alongside a plain cream cheese Danish. Everyone at work really liked them too, so it was a winner. You could probably do more bite-sized pieces with less filling too, which I might try in the future. Then top them with a medley of berries and let them bake in a cupcake pan to form a little cheese Danish bowl. Anywho, I'd give this recipe a 4 out of 5 coffee cup rating. It was quick, fun to make, and delicious. Thanks for watching.